In this class, we introduce the use of the IR Plus filter. The name of this filter is LIBERO, is a new product of ours. This is the filter. So this one is the IR Plus filter LIBERO, and this one is the standard IR filter. We want to test what we can do on palimpsest using our palimpsest mockup. This is the visible photo, standard visible photo. We have two Latin letters A and B, and then behind them we have Greek letters beta and gamma that are barely visible. A and B, the Latin letters, are made of iron gall inks, like it was normal for later medieval time, and beta and gamma are made with carbon-based ink, as was common in antiquity. Using the infrared standard filter, the Robertina IR filter, we can get this image. So we see that the iron gall ink, the letters A and B, becomes transparent a little bit. We can have an enhanced reading of the Greek letters beta and gamma. When we apply on the camera the LIBERO IR Plus filter, we get a much better contrasted image, where we see the beta and the gamma much more clear, and the iron gall inks is almost totally disappeared. This is the transmittance curve of this new filter. This one is basically an infrared filter, so it will stop all the visible light, but also this filter stops the near infrared and allows just the infrared in the farthest part of the spectrum. Here we have the specifics, so we see transmission at 1050 nanometer is at 5%, so basically here is where it starts to grow, the curve of the transmittance, so the infrared light can go through. Then we have over here that the transmittance at 1060 nanometer, it's at 60%, and then up here we see that we have the maximum of the transmittance at 1100 nanometer. This is the transmittance curve of IR Plus filter LIBERO. In this slide, we show the transmittance curve specifically over 950, because this is the area that really matters. This graph over here shows the comparison of the IR Plus filter LIBERO and the standard IR filter in the Robertina filter set. So we see that Robertina, meaning the red one, the transmittance is already at 50% when we start at 950 nanometer from this graph over here. So all this part of the infrared spectrum go through this standard filter over here. On the other hand, the transmittance curve of the LIBERO filter, quindi over here, it starts to grow just from 1050 nanometer. This bluish area over here is the technical photography camera sensitivity. So this is the maximum that the camera can see into the infrared. So generally it is 1100 nanometer is the maximum. So basically, using the LIBERO filter over here, we are really looking just at the furthest part of the infrared spectrum that the camera can see. So basically what happens is that the pigments, the inks, they becomes more transparent when we work just on this area. In practice, the difference using the IR filter or the IR plus filter is that here we have iron gall ink that is barely transparent, and when we do IR plus LIBERO, the iron gall ink appears really transparent. Let's do the experiment together. So on my back here we have the acquisition software for our camera. Here there is the palimpsest. This is the calibration card. So right now the camera that is on top over here has the visible filter, so we see a standard visible image. So I'm removing the visible filter and I'm putting on the infrared filter. So it goes up here. There it is. So the image is pretty dark because we need the source of infrared. So I have to turn on the halogen lamps. Let's turn on the halogen lamps. There it is. So we have the reddish typical color of the infrared photos. Here we have the palimpsest. So right now there is the infrared filter on top. So we go here. Of course the image is a bit overexposed. We want to reduce this exposure. So let's decrease it. Okay, there it is. We can magnify and we can focus. There it is. This is the image we get with the infrared filter. Let's remove it and put on it the infrared plus filter LIBERO. The first thing we notice is that the image now is black because we are looking at the furthest, just that the furthest part of the infrared where the camera is less sensitive. So we definitely need to increase the exposure. So I go here on the software and instead of 1/20th of seconds, so we need to increase the exposure. So let's put at least 1 second. So you see now we start to see the image. So let's adjust the autofocus. We can use this one and we have our image. Maybe it's a little bit too exposed. We can do a little bit less. And there it is. So we see now that the iron gall ink is totally disappeared and we just see the beta and the gamma. Then of course this image has to be edited in black and white, so we're gonna have a much better contrast and we can immediately make the palimpsest readable. Thank you for watching.